Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, welcome. I am A,
This is Jay.
and this is Real Talk with A and J. Guess what, folks? We're in the Dominican Republic, coming to y'all live today.
Yeah, man. Loving it. I ain't gonna lie though, I do see a rain cloud. I don't know if it's coming our way. Is that coming our way? We need to vacate.
We needed a vacation badly. You know, we were talking about self-care last episode.
Yeah.
And this was definite self-care. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah.
You know, so hey, birthday to you.
I mean,
you know?
appreciate it.
Moving on, not older, just wiser. Just wiser.
Older and wiser.
Older and
You know what I'm
wiser.
saying?
Yeah.
Listen, I do not run away from that age thing. I'm 44, and my philosophy is, what's the alternative? You get older or what?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah,
So I prefer to get older. Right now, I mean, I'm sure there will be a time when I'm like, all right, God, I'm ready to transition up out of here. But for now,
you know what? I like that, but at the same time, I'm just like, look, God, take me when you will. But as long as I'm down here, lead me.
yeah,
Lead
me.
Lead and guide me.
That's it.
Yeah, man. This is the weather's great. This is our fourth day here.
We came here Tuesday.
Tuesday. Today's
It's Friday.
So technically 3 days. Well, you know what? One thing I want to talk about, man, the food that's been down here, brother. My gosh.
Listen.
Talk about it.
All right, so what's funny when we left last time. So we came down. So this is our second time down.
Second time here.
And came for your birthday.
Came for my birthday.
Down here for my birthday.
We'll be back down here for my birthday again.
Keep rocking and rolling, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, one of the things that I noticed when I went back to the States was for 2 weeks, all I could taste was chemicals. Food was so disgusting.
So we're talking about produce too.
Yeah, there was a few things that I could do. It was like watermelon, but like I would have to go to certain places that still serve like watermelon with seeds in it, and like so I would have to go certain places. Pineapple was so I like when I left last time, my diet for probably about 2 weeks was just fruits, and a little bit of vegetables, but everything else was just so chemically based.
Yeah.
And my body understood it because my body finally started to understand what real food tastes like. And I think like one of the things that for weeks, for months. Matter of fact, up until this last week when we came down, all I was talking about, like people asked me about the DR, and of course they asked about the women. That's the first thing they ask about. Oh, I know why you going down there, blah 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 blah. And then, but the thing I always talk about, food.
Man, you know what's interesting? Let's take a pause on that. That is what everybody says when we come down here. You're going down there, just to let you guys know, we are at Puerto Plata. That's the province in a small town called Sosua. And it is absolutely gorgeous. The culture of the people is wonderful. They get it. The way that we're embraced, the way that people treat you, just common strangers, you don't find that in the States. One thing that I want to say, though, I remember when we were coming down and I was putting our trip together, and I told you, I said, man, I want a spiritual journey when I go down there. And it's amazing how God gave me one. We'll get into that, you know what I'm saying, later. But coming down here, what we prayed for was transformation and a spiritual journey. And we're on that. We're absolutely on that. God always answers, and he answers in such an incredible, amazing way that it's way beyond what you could have ever thought.
Absolutely. And the journey starts with the nature. Like look behind us. That ain't no backdrop.
No, not a backdrop, y'all. It's just it's colorful. There's palm trees and different types of trees and vegetation and natural life all over the place, and it's just beautiful to see. Free range animals,
sitting in the pool right now.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that the States does, at least I was born and raised in DC,
right?
Big cities. Now I'm in Charlotte, right outside of Charlotte. Right. So I'm used to big cities. Now I do realize, like in the country, you get some of this, but for a lot of the people in the city and that was born in the city, raised in the city, or that works in the city, like they don't understand that what we've done to the cities is get rid of all of this natural nature, trees and grass. We got rid of all of that stuff.
They replaced it with cement and buildings.
Right. Which makes it hard which makes it hard for grounding and other different techniques that is important for your mental health. It makes it hard to do all of that stuff. And so when you talk about the spiritual journey, the first thing that I noticed, like even on the plane, is the greenery.
Yes.
It's the greenery. It's like, yo, we're embedded in nature.
You know, I can definitely attest to that, and also the fresh air, bro. The air is different, bro.
Yes.
Just taking a deep breath. I mean, just the breeze down here is, oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's 80 degrees out here, and it's just perfect weather.
Yes.
Perfect cool weather in February, y'all. So
right,
you know what I mean?
Right, and that's important to say because whenever you're watching this it's February.
It's February.
We ain't this ain't August was last time we came down.
Last time we came.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't the summertime.
Right.
This is February.
Mm-hmm.
It's 80 degrees. You can probably tell I'm sweating. The sun is hiding right now, which is great.
Hey, that's okay.
But you know what I mean? But that's important to say. It's February.
It's February.
You see the greenery.
Yeah.
It's February.
People are laughing, smiling outside, not inside.
Outside.
You know what I mean? Enjoying themselves. This is year round down here, y'all. And not to say that there's anything wrong with the seasons. And some folks like winter, some folks like warmer weather. I definitely am an advocate for warmer weather. I'm a fan of warm weather. I love the sun. I love the beach. I love the pool. But at the same time, it's just a different type of feeling, a different type. I mean, the people down here, this is year round for them.
Year round.
You know what I mean? This is their season.
Yeah.
We have our different 4 seasons. And listen, being an American, I enjoy, my seasons. I enjoy my holidays. But one thing I can say is this weather down here is a breath of fresh air, which is why we had to come down here, not for the ladies, not for anything else except the spiritual journey and the self-care. And that's what's amazing.
Right.
That's what's amazing. So,
and you're in Maryland, so you get to see the 4 seasons.
Yeah, I get to see the 4 seasons. Yep.
Right. I think one of the reasons why this is kind of taken for granted down here, because it is. It's interesting because, you've talked to people, I've talked to people who the sun, the weather is like, but we aren't used to this. This is not our everyday.
Right.
And so I think there is a matter of perspective when you grow up in an environment where you get different for example, since we're talking about the seasons, when you get different seasons.
Yeah.
You know what it's like what the snow look like.
Yes.
You know what 100 degrees look like.
Man, do I ever. Yeah.
You know what time with the cherry blossoms and all that looks like. And you know what the fall looks like. Like what 4 seasons look like. Whereas some places, and I think actually this is a good point. Maybe we can talk about this. Some places only know one thing.
Yes.
And so when you go out of that circle, when you go out of that box, then it's hard for them to adjust. Move down to North Carolina. We're just starting to get like this is probably the maybe second or third winter we've had where it actually got cold.
Yes.
And I've been there for 17 years. This is like
17 years. Wow.
Yeah. And this is like the second or third winter where it's actually gotten cold. And it's like they don't know what to do. They still don't know what to do. Because they've enjoyed one season. So when the season shifts, it's like they don't know what to do with it.
Oh, did you see down in Atlanta when it snowed? They went crazy down there. They went crazy down there.
Well, there was like a car pile up. It was like
40
I
cars.
want to say people left their cars on the highway, but that's the thing. Like when you only have that one thing, then when stuff starts to shift, it's hard for you to adjust because you don't know what it's like to live in this. Like Floridians don't know what it's like to have snow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then likewise, if you live in I don't know, Vermont or New Hampshire or something, you don't know what it's like to be in 90-degree weather all day, every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we were kind of blessed to be in the area that has 4 seasons, which helps you to adjust. And it teaches you, listen, life is about adjustments.
Evolving.
Yeah, because you're gonna go through some stuff. We were talking about
Self-care.
Well, self-care, but a couple shows ago, it was the hustle culture.
Hustle culture.
And there is a time when you do need to hustle. But if you don't understand the 4 seasons, if you don't understand and have the ability to adjust, then you'll mess around and hustle the rest of your life.
And that's the part. That's interesting that you said that. It is so prevalent, especially in the United States, that hustle culture is almost like this is what you do for life.
Right.
There's no breaks. There's no time off.
Right. All gas, no breaks.
All gas, no breaks.
Right.
And that is what's killing people. That is what is messing with people's mental health. That is what's shortening lifespans. And people are doing it for all the wrong reasons. It's all about, honestly, it's a spiritual warfare. And it's all about living through flesh. Attaining material, attaining title, attaining privilege, just the most you can. And it's almost a hoarding lifestyle. Because you don't need half of this stuff. You don't even need a third of the stuff that we have. But we have it, just to say we have it. And that's, you come down to a place like Dominican Republic where, this is an impoverished country, and people are happy. They're proud, and they're proud of the few things that they have, and that's all they need is their necessities. You know what I mean? Yes, do they have their wants? Absolutely. They have their needs, and their needs make them happy. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's not a culture that we necessarily live in America. Our wants make us happy. Attaining our wants, we have what we need, but attaining our wants gives us a temporary happiness. It's almost like a pleasure button. And then once that pleasure button goes away, guess what? You on to the next thing to try to make you happy. When you're down here, your needs making you happy, that's an amazing place to be. That's why I say this culture gets it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Our needs are almost like taken for granted.
Yeah.
And then our wants are our needs. You see what I'm saying? It's like you got needs and then you got wants. But for us, our needs are taken for granted, so they're pushed aside. Our wants have taken that place of the needs.
Yeah.
And so then the things that we want is like a Bentley. You know what I'm saying? Like then you say, oh, I need a car. You don't really need a car. You want a car.
You want a car.
And I know some people go, man, nah, you don't understand, man. Where I live at, I need it. No, you don't need a car. You want one.
Well,
and
some folks would argue with that.
I know. A lot of people will.
Yeah.
A lot of people will. But there's remote jobs you can do. You can walk to work, you can bike to work. There's different things that you can do.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. I get that part. Okay.
So depending on, you can adjust your lifestyle to where you don't need a car. Right? Matter of fact, in DC, man, do you need no, I don't absolutely know, because I'm in North Carolina, right? Yeah. And in Charlotte, so in Charlotte, the public transportation is not like DC.
Oh, DC is 24/7,
and it's the best.
It's the best.
Oh my gosh,
it takes you everywhere you need to go in DC. There's not a time or you don't need a car in DC. Matter of fact, if you have a car in DC, it's not even, that's more of a liability than a luxury. You got to find parking. You got to hope somebody doesn't ding it. Shoot, you got to hope somebody doesn't rob it. You know what I mean? There's plenty of things to look into. But at the same time, that is a city where you don't need a car, but people still have them.
But then when you go on 495, you see a ton of people driving. Right? So you don't need a car, but a lot of people say, nah, you don't understand. I need a car. No, you don't. You don't need it.
Right.
See, that's the thing. That need has become, that want has taken the place of the need.
Yes.
And the need has been taken for granted.
Yes.
What you need is water. You need air.
You need shelter.
Right? And you don't need a 3,000 square foot house.
Right.
You need shelter.
Yeah. Food.
You need food.
Good food.
Good food should be our need.
Should be your need. Yeah.
It should be. In America, we got so many daggone chemicals in our foods.
It's not a game.
And that's one of the things that you could taste
down here.
Because you were talking about when you started, you was like, man, we had so much food, so much good food.
Yeah.
You could taste the difference.
Bro, you can listen, just the fruits alone. Look, everything was seeded. Our watermelon seeded, our grapes seeded.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Blueberries, delicious. Raspberries, delicious. And they're all small.
And ask yourself, especially if you're in the States.
Yeah.
When the last time you had a seeded grape?
When's the last time you had a seeded watermelon?
Right. And them joints be the grapes be about it.
That big.
That big.
That big. You gotta split them joints to get into your mouth.
And we sit there and be like, man, but it's good. Yeah, you're right. It is good.
But the blueberries in America are big as a grape.
No, they're not.
You haven't seen some jumbo blueberries.
Y'all got jumbo blueberries?
Jumbo blueberries, bro. Lots of you not in every store in Maryland.
Really?
Yes. And they're cheaper than the organic ones.
I was gonna say, so
the organic ones are smaller.
They ain't got no seeds in them, do they?
Man, none of them got seeds in them, brother. They got a lot of taste, a lot of sugar, but no seeds, bro.
See, thankfully, a lot of the places I go to shop, they have some options, so you can get a lot of seeded stuff still at some of the stores that I shop at, which is great. But shoot,
I'm not saying that there aren't stores in Maryland that you can shop at and get stuff like that, but there's a plethora of businesses, of Giant, Safeway, all the major brands that don't have that, that are in range of where people can get to them. The people are trying to get to a place like Sprouts or Whole Foods or Harris Teeter that may have, seeded grapes.
And that's where I'm at. I'm in the Harris Teeter's range. Yeah. Not Whole Foods, but Harris Teeter's Publix is where I go, because I notice if I go to Food Lion that the food is different. It is different. It is different. So I know, like, it's funny for me. Like, if I know I'm gonna eat trash, I'll go to Food Line. Sure. Because it's the same. It's the same trash. Sure. All of it's trash. Sure. If I want some chips, I'm going to Food Line.
There you go.
If I
anything snack wise.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna just go to Food Line, because Oreos is Oreos, whether they at Harris Teeter's or they. Now, here's the thing though. This may be a little controversial, which I won't get into.
Well, let's do it.
Because one of the reasons why we had so many issues, especially talking about mental health, and even trying to take care of yourself. You try to take care of yourself and you try to eat right. But the problem is, all of the food got so many chemicals in it. Like, you look at the label and you call this a healthy meal, and you look at the back of the label and you can't even pronounce the words, the ingredients. You're like, man, all these, we got so many chemicals.
The list is that long. And that's the first thing we looked at when we came here, was look at the ingredients that are in the juice. Look at the ingredients that are, just listed on whatever we had. Another thing is the prices. We got fruit, I don't want to say dirt cheap, but way cheaper than America for good organic fruit. They didn't, nothing had to say organic down here.
Right.
It's just grown, naturally. You know what I mean? Right. So it's just interesting just to see the different dynamics that, that a culture has. And this is called an impoverished country, and look how they live.
They understand things that we don't get in America, which is about taking care of yourself.
Yes.
They understand self-care.
Yes.
So much so that it's not even a thought process for them. Yeah. Because that's their culture.
You know what I noticed is I remember when we first got here and we were looking to get something to eat. It was 9 o'clock. Nothing's open.
Nothing's open.
Nothing is open. Right. Why? Because people have worked. Nobody's out here working 16 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, maybe 8. But when it's time to close shop, they're going home to their families, and they eating, and they sleeping, and they resting well, and they're getting up and going to whatever job that they're going to, well rested, well taken care of, ready to start a new day, and repeat that process. Family dynamic is important down here. Seeing their family, people live together. It's not shunned to have, what's the word? It's not a nuclear family, but a when the aunt lives with you, when the grandma lives with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they live like that to put all the money to put all the money to where it needs to go so they can live comfortably.
Yes.
And that's how they do it.
Yeah.
And that's, in America, no, you're not supposed to be living with anybody. You better get your own. You better be living by yourself.
Right, by a certain age.
Yeah, and it better be 2,000 square feet. You know what I mean? Or it's not good enough. Or a 2-car garage with 2 cars to go in it. Now, why do we need to keep up with this keeping up with it? Who made the keeping up with the Joneses?
Right. I hate it. Because I'm a Jones. I'm like, don't
makes
do
zero sense. But
that's what keeps us in that 24/7 grind.
Yes. And that's the trap.
Keeps us in the trap.
Remember you talking about slavery, modern day slavery? Yes. That's exactly what that is. We're going to work you to you possibly, can't work anymore. And we're going to pay you for it. We're going to say, hey, this is what that's worth. And you're going to say, well, dang, that's not enough for me to live. So now you're still working on top of already being worked to death.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right. And then by the time you work enough to save up enough, your youth is gone, your energy is gone. Yeah. And now you old and can't do nothing. And it's like, shoot, you don't waste it. There's a saying, but Vitality is wasted on the youth. And the idea is that when you're young, you have all this energy, but you're dumb. You don't really know. You don't even know what you don't know that you don't know.
Right.
And then when you get older, you get wise. Your youth that's it. No, it's not vitality. Youth is wasted on the young. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, break down what you're trying to say.
But youth is wasted on the young.
Okay.
Which means when you're young, you're full of life. You got all this energy, but you're dumb. You don't know nothing. Mm-hmm. Then when you get older, you know stuff, but you don't have the energy.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And so it's like, man, what if you could combine the two? And that's where the saying comes from. It's like, man, that energy, it was wasted when I was 20.
Yeah, but the knowledge that I gained.
But now that I'm 50, I know what to do, but I can't.
Yeah,
do it.
I don't have
because I don't have the energy no more.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But a lot of that is all because when it comes back to our self-care, we want to try to take care of ourselves, but I'm sorry, our food got so many daggone chemicals in it.
Yeah.
That even when we're trying to eat right, we're eating chemicals that's destroying us, which keeps us in a hospital, which keeps the pharmaceutical company in business. So this is where the controversy comes in. Trump is in office. It's not even about Trump. Trump brought in RFK. I think he's been confirmed.
Oh, for the Food and Drug Administration.
Yeah,
heading that. Okay.
So he wants to make some changes.
I wonder how that's going to stand up with the pharmaceutical company. They're not going to like that. They're not going to like that at all.
This is where the controversy starts. I'm all for it. I've heard this before. I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but I've heard this by many different sources, reliable sources, that we in America have over 10,000 chemicals that are banned in the rest of the world.
Oh, I've heard that. Right. Yes. So
if we got over 10,000 chemicals that are banned in the rest of the world, they're banned.
Yes.
Which means when you come here, going back to the meal, we're gonna come back to RFK. But we ate last night. Last night you had shrimp pasta.
The night before we had shrimp pasta and
shrimp pasta
and spaghetti.
You had shrimp pasta and spaghetti. I had the spaghetti. Reason why we had to do both is because I have an allergy to shellfish. Now the interesting thing is that in America, if I Harris Teeters and I go to where they do the shrimp, crabs, and all that stuff, immediately my allergies start to flare up just by smelling it. Now I used to say that's how I know it's real. That's how I know it's real seafood, because the smell would mess me up. If I smell it good, it's like, man, I gotta get out of here. Let me hold my breath and move. Right? You had real seafood.
Real seafood, bro. Real seafood.
Being cooked.
From scratch.
Yes. In the house. Did I look like I had any issues?
And that's what you even brought up. You said, bro, I just remember they cooking shrimp and I had no issues.
None.
And then at the dinner table, no issues. I appreciate
you
not needing that, though.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It was good.
Listen, I was almost tempted to try it.
Hey, man, you know what? I think I tried to tempt you to try because I said I had some Benadryl.
You said that's some Benadryl. I was like,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Listen.
Yeah.
But it makes me think, like, maybe it's not the shellfish that I'm allergic to. Maybe it's some of the chemicals that are in it.
Yeah, that are mixed with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That they don't put in there.
Bro, when we went through the produce section, when we went through the deli section, did you see any chunks of meat this big? Did you see any seafood that was, everything was proportioned just right? Like it was actually caught. You know what I'm saying? Not farm raised. Right. You know what I mean? Like, or man, the ground beef. Talk about the ground beef and the spaghetti. Bro.
I don't think I ever tasted beef before.
No.
Never tasted beef before.
Not ground beef. I mean, I'm tempted to get, man, listen, bro. You know what? We're going to do hamburgers for you.
You know what? Bet that.
Okay,
yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Let me tell y'all haven't had meat sauce. Y'all haven't had meat sauce. Excuse me. Those of you who have not been down here, you haven't had meat sauce like that. I mean, the first thing we both said is, can you taste this beef? It tasted amazing.
But you know what? I've heard people hunters, specifically like when I listen to Joe Rogan.
Okay.
He'll talk about how beef in a store and beef that's fresh cooked, that freshly hunted, fresh cooked, whatever, totally different. Totally different. Now, but you got to think, when he goes hunting, he don't go to the city to go hunt. He go way out into a place that looks probably like this, that ain't been touched, that's natural, where the people, where the animals are literally free roaming. And then he's going out there and taking them out with a bow, cooking it. And so, because I do think there are certain places in America where you probably can get real food.
Oh, there is. Where my mom's from, Pleasantville, Pennsylvania. A real place. A real place. You know, they are self-sufficient.
Was that in the commercial or something?
It was a movie. It was a black and white movie. And I mean, let me tell you, we ain't going to get into how Pleasantville is, but I'll talk about the food there. They are a self-sufficient, self-sustaining people. Everyone has space where they live. And they may have a small, you know, it may be a trailer house. It may be a small little house that they built. It may be a big house, but they have property. Yeah. And on their property, everybody has a garden and some type of wildlife. So, I shouldn't say wildlife, but some type of
some animals,
and some chickens, you know, rabbits. Right. You know what I mean? There may be a pig there, or definitely cows. You know what I mean? And they live off that. Yeah. Now, is there a grocery store so they can go get tomato sauce or whatever they need? You know, a thing that they do there is called canning.
Okay.
So what they do is they take produce like vegetables, or they take any type of fruit and they can them and they put them in their cellar, and they last forever. Yeah. And when you eat them, they taste fresh. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
absolutely. And they're straight from the garden. No preservatives, no nothing. See? You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's how they, you know what I mean? They keep their food, you know, especially in the wintertime, they'll have like a cold cellar or something like that. And right next to it, they'll put, you know, all their preservatives.
And they still like that today?
Still like that today. You know?
See, I remember when I was a kid, I used to go down to North Carolina. Went to my Uncle Ed. I remember I was talking to my mother about this not too long ago. She was like, "You remember that?" I was like, "Yeah." We would go to into his backyard and pull up stuff from the yard. He had an old school Swin bike. He was 96 years old. He had an old school Swin bike with a basket on the front. So he would 96 years old. He would get on his bike and leave. Now I don't know where he went, but when he came back, he had a brown paper bag. In that brown paper bag was some meat. He would come in, get the brown paper bag, boom. The ladies in the kitchen, they all ready, because we done went in the garden, and they're like, "Hey, get that cabbage, get this, get that part," right? Yep. And so we just pulling up stuff, right? They cooking it straight from the yard, cooking. He went down to go get some meat. 96 years old. Now just think about that today. Mm-hmm. What 96-year-old do you know that's riding a bike?
How many 96-year-olds do you know, period?
That part. And so, but this was normal back then. Because I'm talking about the 80s. Okay. Right? So this is normal back then. Today, yeah, you don't know a 96 years old. And if you do, you got to take their keys from them. Because they think, you know what I'm saying?
Driving in that like Miss Daisy to wreck everything.
Yeah. They think they're going 80 when they're going 8.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
In the left lane.
In the fast lane. Yeah. And so, but over time, something happened with the chemicals. And so this goes back to RFK, the controversy. Because a lot of people, listen, I was looking at the little vote yay, vote nay, vote yay, vote nay. It was right down, all the Republicans voted yay. All the Democrats voted nay. But when you look at it, this dude wants to get rid of the chemicals in the food. Now first thing you said was, and the pharmaceutical company, are they going to allow that? And when you say that,
you say it when they allowed. I said they're going to be upset.
Well,
which is the same thing.
Same thing I'm about to say.
Same thing.
So when you say that, I say, shoot, what about the school system? What about the healthcare system? Because I say it all the time.
Right.
We don't have healthcare in America. We have sick care.
Yeah.
We got really good sick care.
Can I bring up something? I told you, I spoke to a lady named Lori on the way down here on the plane, and she was from Canada. And Canada has free healthcare for all of their citizens.
What'd she say about that?
Now, she said there has its pros and cons. It is a very preventative healthcare system, which means that you can always schedule an appointment. Now, it may be a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road, but it's for preventative. You're going to get your physicals all the time. You're going to get your blood work done all the time. You're going to get whatever you need. If they see something wrong, get them an MRI. They're going to tell you that this is what you're going to do and this is what you need to do. So they're very preventative. Well, in America, yeah, you can get an appointment, anytime that you want. But, well, I shouldn't say anytime that you want. You can get an appointment faster.
I'm about to say, because shoot, it takes forever to see a doctor now.
It takes forever, but there's no health. We don't have the healthcare there. So if you can't afford, you know what I mean, you may have to wait to a place that only Medicaid takes. Right. You may have to wait to a place that, okay, well, this insurance carrier doesn't provide for these people. So you have to find one, where there it's anybody can go anywhere and get seen. Now, as far as being sick and immediately being sick, they'll come to America for that. That's the con of it. You know what I mean? They can't just be seen like that. Right. Do they have emergency rooms? Yes, but they'll tell them, well, okay, we can do this much for you, but you're going to have to, use private insurance if you really want to, get this taken care of.
So if you need like a major surgery,
yes, they come to America for that. But here's the thing: they have so much preventative healthcare. They have so much preventative that people don't get sick just like that.
That may be true.
Yeah,
but then you still stuff. So sometimes you still run into situations where you're healthy. My son is fully healthy. Then had a knee issue, and it's like, okay, well, cool. If you're in Canada, when do you get to have that surgery? 2 years from now.
2 years from now. Yeah, that part. Unless you come to America, you know what I mean?
And right.
So that's the thing. It's like, you'll be preventative, but don't have an accident.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So, the preventative care is one thing, but like I said, we don't have good health care.
No.
We got really good sick care.
Yes.
We got
now break down what you mean by sick care.
So this is the challenge when it comes to RFK and what he really wants to do, because it's not just the pharmaceutical companies. It's not just pharmaceuticals. It's the food, it's the pharmaceuticals, and it's healthcare all together. Mm-hmm. So when I say we have really good sick care, well, I mean that you eat foods that are destroying your body, that are killing you, right? So that's step number one. Then you go to the pharmaceutical companies that will give you pills to stop what this food is doing. Mm-hmm. But then it may okay, this food is giving you high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you take a pill that fixes your high blood pressure,
but doesn't cure it.
It doesn't cure it. It fixes it as long as you're taking it.
As long as you're taking it.
But it also messes up your liver.
And now what? Guess what? You got to take another medicine.
And then you got to take another medicine
for your liver.
Right.
And that affects your kidneys. And now you got to take another medicine for your kidneys. And that affects your heart. Now, do you see what I'm saying?
And now you're in the hospital.
Now you're in the hospital.
And the hospital says, take this medicine. Mm-hmm. We'll help you with this, but take this medicine. Well, what's in the hospital? Food. What does that food do? When you go to the hospital, man, they're going to give you, first off, everybody knows most hospital food sucks.
Yes.
It tastes that disgusting.
But it's not for you to be tasting. It's for your body to fuel up.
Yes, but it's still chemically based.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even in the hospital, I'm supposed to be giving you food to help you while you're resting, but it's chemically based. Yeah. And they say, well, yeah, but we're not going to put all the salt in it. Yeah, but you got all this other chemical stuff in it that's destroying my liver, destroying my kidneys, destroying this. Now you got me on dialysis. You got me on all this stupid stuff in the hospital. And it's like, yeah, well, guess what? I can keep you alive.
As long as you keep taking these medicines.
As long as you keep taking this medicine.
And when you stop, you won't be alive. But check this out.
So I'm maintaining your sickness.
I'm maintaining your sickness, but guess what? What happens when your health care runs out or changes or stops coverage?
That part.
Oh, you went for it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. We told you what you need. We told you what you need to do. It's up to you to do it. It's up to you to afford it.
And even if you do it,
yeah,
they don't care.
They don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I say we have good sick care, I mean we do a really good job in managing the sickness that we are creating upon you.
Yeah.
We do a good job in managing that.
Yeah.
That's why you can live to be 70 years old. But if those weren't in cahoots, you could easily live to be 100.
Yes. Absolutely.
But we do a good job. And one of the reasons why we do a good job in managing that is because we understand at about 40, 50 years old, you're kind of losing your your value to America.
Right. We can't work you as hard anymore.
Yeah, we can't work you as hard anymore.
You can't keep up.
You know what I mean? You now you know stuff, so now you could speak up. Nobody want to hear you.
Nobody want to hear you.
You know what I'm saying? So now you want to change stuff. Right. So by about 70, 75, I want you up out of there, man. Up out of there.
Yeah.
You know, by 60, I want you so sick. I want your body so sick that it's breaking down, that it's eating itself. That by 70, you're done. And if you ain't done by 70, you ain't making it to 80. And meanwhile, I'm going to manage all of that. I'm going to manage it through your 20s, manage it through your 30s, I'm going to manage it through your 40s, and manage it through your 50s. And then that's when they start telling you, oh yeah, you got to get this procedure done. You got to get this checkup. You at this age, so you got to get your prostate checked. And you at this age, so you got to get breast exams. You got to do this. You got to do that, and all of that is to manage your sickness. And so when I say we got good sick care, first off, we do a really good job on keeping people sick.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what we don't talk about: gut health. Why is that not talked about? Why is that not taught? When that is where all the disease comes from.
There's a guy, Dr. Gundry, who I listen to, and he's been talking about gut health, I don't know, 30, 40 years now, because his thing is, yes, gut health is extremely important. And now a lot of more people, I will say this, a lot more people are talking about gut health now. Matter of fact, they're saying now that we have a second brain.
Yeah.
Right? In the gut. And so some people are talking more about it, but it's still like when I say more people, if we're talking about 100% of Americans, it used to be maybe 1% that would talk about it. Now we may be at 4% who would talk about it, but it's still nowhere near, what it should be. Yes, we should be talking about gut health.
So I'll tell you, I learned about it from a guy named Dr. Seven, and he had a diet, based on, alkaline versus acidic, you know what I mean? Produce.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let me tell you,
Saban's my guy.
Yes, may he rest in peace. But the thing that was so interesting is when I kind of adapted to that, I couldn't adapt to the no meat, but I did adapt to the no red meat for the most part. My diet was a lot of salmon, was a lot of chicken, and a lot of vegetables that were alkaline versus acidic. Things changed in me. I love going to the gym. I love the energy that I got when I changed my diet. I mean, you could feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love the energy that I had just during the day. I liked being able to get a certain amount of sleep and wake up refreshed because I had the right, food in me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even when I stopped, getting sickly, I can't tell you the last time I had the flu. I can't tell you the last time I've had even a cold. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And this is all for me just listening to what he was saying as far as gut health. What put me on to him was he was actually curing people of certain diseases that they had that we call fatal. You know what I mean? Such as HIV. He was curing cancer. He was curing diseases that they say you have to live with, like herpes, all through gut health, all through, take this, drink this, eat this. And after a matter of time, guess what? People were cured, not had to stay on that diet. People were cured. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Why aren't we taught that? Because pharmaceutical companies.
It destroys, like I said, because this is the challenge. It's not just the pharmaceutical companies, right? What do you think happens to McDonald's?
Okay.
Right? What do you think? I work at a hospital. Yeah. What do you think happens to my hospital when we make over $1 billion a day? What do you think happens to now as a system? Right? What do you think happens to that?
Right.
Those people don't listen. If you're eating right, then you don't have to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have to go to the hospital because you're eating right and you're healthy, you don't have to take any 20 pills. You might take some supplements. But it's interesting in our culture because we have to take supplements.
Yeah.
Because our food does not have the nourishments. It's been stripped of the natural vitamins and minerals to where, there was a saying back in the day, apple a day
keeps the doctor
away. Right? Well, now that apple has been stripped of all its minerals,
and it's about this big.
And it's huge. So an apple a day will sure enough keep you in the doctor's office.
Yes, it sure will. Well, in America.
You know what I'm saying? But the reason why we said that is because we understood that there was vitamins and minerals in that food that helped us.
Yeah.
Now, Again, going back to our sick care, we want to keep you in McDonald's. That's why, and I was going to say this earlier, when we came here, you mentioned 9 o'clock, couldn't find nothing. I asked, I was like, dang, is there any place we could go where they could make food fast? Right? We call it fast food. What was the answer?
No.
No.
I actually had to find a lady, and she was actually closing down, who was grilling chicken. Well, you know what I mean? Grilling it, you know what I mean? Right on the side, had her own little store, grilling chicken, and was shutting down. And I was able to get, you know what I mean, like the last, 2 couple chickens that she had before she was shutting down.
That's little chicken.
And this was at 9:15. 15.
And admittedly, I wasted mine.
It's all good.
I wasted my portion.
Yeah.
Because I started eating that, and I was like, this ain't what I came down here for.
Taste buds wasn't hitting just yet.
I was like, nah, this ain't what I came down here for. This ain't it.
Right.
This ain't it. And then my first real meal was breakfast.
Talk about it.
Oh,
what we have.
First off, and I'm gonna see if I can put the pictures on here.
Yeah.
Because I took pictures of the table. First off, it was a 3-course breakfast meal.
Yes, it was. And color. Now, you should see the color. It was a colorful, all the colors. I
gotta figure out how to post these pictures.
Medley of strawberries, a medley of blueberries with strawberries with raspberries and seeded grapes and watermelon. I mean, that was the fruit section.
Oh my god.
Okay. Let's talk about the meats.
And that
I'm skipping it. Yeah.
Listen. Anytime you start your day, anytime you're going to start your day, we eat cereal.
Okay.
We eat pancakes. We eat tons of starches, biscuit sandwiches, right? One of the most popular sandwiches is the McGriddle.
Talk about that.
And I ain't gonna lie, I can